The rum distillation is an 18-hour day.
Wow.
And it is hands-on. You're turning knobs and looking at valves and trying not to drink too much. So Queen Charlotte's Reserve, this is our barrel age series. This is why I got into the rum industry.
That is delicious. Hi, I'm content producer Michael Barrett. Muddy River Distillery made history when it opened here in Belmont on the banks of the Catawba River in 2011, and it's now the oldest legal rum distillery in the Carolinas. But prosperity and growth over a dozen years have made it necessary to expand. So the business is building on its historic ties by relocating about 5 miles up the road to Mount Holly and setting up shop here in the oldest surviving textile mill in Gaston County. Husband and wife, Robbie and Caroline Delaney, were following the path of their college degrees, working in construction management and accounting, when an in-flight magazine gave Robbie the idea to start a distillery in the late 2000s. The murky color of the Catawba River inspired the name for their new venture a dozen years ago in Belmont.
Started making liquor in the kitchen, then the woods, then a real location, and here we are.
So what was it about rum that led you to decide that you wanted to build a business around that as opposed to any other spirit? Was that just, what was it about that led you to focus on that?
We get that question a lot. So we're in a country filled with whiskey drinkers. Why do we make rum? We make rum because if you go to the liquor store, the rum section's all paint thinner. It's Bacardi and Kraken Morgan. Like, I was able to show people that rum could be respected.
Their goal was to provide a rum that's not just based on high-dollar commercials and marketing campaigns.
So when we make a good rum and we follow whiskey standards, these barrels, brand new. We use them one time. So we follow the whiskey rules. We still use sugarcane, which is a rum thing. And we show people that we provide the gateway rum for the whiskey drinker.
That attention to detail is not a simple process.
This is extremely difficult to run. When I make whiskey, turn the machine on, walk away, come back in 6 hours. A rum distillation is an 18-hour day.
North Carolina's liquor laws were much more restrictive in 2011, but as those have loosened, more opportunities for expansion have emerged for Muddy River.
The reason for the move and the transition and the sudden explosion in growth is the laws have changed. We are like a brewery now. People don't understand that when they would walk into this place for a tour, they want a menu, they want to hang out, and it's no different here than, like, you know, if you were to tour a peanut butter factory or something. We had to evolve to a front of house in an experience versus this, that it was just a factory.
The 3-story Mount Holly cotton mill, built in 1875 on 4.5 acres along Dutchman's Creek, is the oldest surviving textile mill in Gaston County. When it came onto the Delaney's radar, they were initially intimidated by the work it would take to redevelop such a treasured community structure.
It just was way over my budget, and it was way more work than I was capable of at the time. And essentially that turned into, hey, let's rise to the occasion and make it happen.
The couple purchased the 18,000 square foot mill in 2022 for $1.3 million, then secured permits and began a massive overhaul of it last fall. They expect to invest about $4 million into the restoration, and the building's rich historic ties have fueled their passion for giving it a new use.
And there's so many people that are connected to this building, and I feel like kind of honored, I guess, to be the custodian, right? Now when people come to visit Muddy River and sit at this cocktail bar, they're not just here for the rum, they're here for, like, the story. Our YouTube channel will be playing all over this place, showing people, like, what it looked like, how it's going, what it's going to look like. So Robbie, I've seen some before photos that show what the mill looked like back when y'all started construction around October, and I see what it looks like now. Tell me a little bit about the overall scope of the project. The scope of the project is what at first scared me away from this thing, and that's that, how do you put a factory in this mill? It was a factory in the 1800s, but they didn't put 15,000 pound forklifts and 30,000 pound tanks in the building. Working in here, especially in the floor we're standing in, was tough. The ancient building had settled, so the initial challenge was pouring concrete for loading docks and then actually lifting the structure so they could remove the original wood floor and fill 12 feet of crawl space with stone without causing the mill to collapse. All of that drama was documented on Muddy River's YouTube channel. This floor is about 14 inches down from where the original wood floor is. It would have been right here. The capitals for these columns were sagging, so they had to be replaced. If you can imagine what it takes to lift a building and then replace its legs, basically, that's what we did here. Patrons of the new site will sit at bar tables made from the wood of the mill's original basement floor.
And through large glass walls, they'll be able to look down at the massive production stills that create the magic.
So we have a proper separation, making things safer, making the workflow more efficient. And this room will be kind of like a zoo exhibit, for lack of a better way to describe it, where you're like looking at the guy down there. There'll be a sign that says don't tap on the glass or feed the distiller, and they'll be doing their job.
The new 2,000 square foot bar will offer Muddy River based rum drinks, craft cocktails, and local beers amid exposed white brick walls and original wood floors. Rampant interest has prompted the Delaney's to already begin booking private events beyond their target opening date in June, and future plans even call for a separate rooftop deck and bar overlooking the creek.
We'll have a bar, a restaurant, and then 2 private event spaces. This private event space that we're in now is 2,000 square feet, where we can do quinceañeras and birthdays and weddings and whatever else. We're going to do cocktail classes in here, where they live broadcast to our YouTube channel. There's just so much customer-facing experience. You want to get to know Muddy River? Now you can come do that here.
For Neighborhood TV, I'm Michael Barrett.